Hello, Algebra 1 peeps. We are now looking at, we've got two basic more ideas to work on, and we're finished up with Chapter 5. And the great news is we've already done Chapter 6, so we'll be jumping to 7. But these are labor intensive. They take a while to do, and usually it takes me a few days to get everybody through it. So this week we have a lesson today, and then we have a lesson tomorrow, and hopefully you're able to do all of those problems and be able to pick up points for the whole week, because it really would take me all week to get everybody through this. All right, so what we have here, and again, there's a copy of this for you on the next screen. What we have here is a problem where we have to graph an inequality, but the x and the y are on the same side. So that's different than last week when we were going through the lessons and we were just practicing solving. So there's an extra step, but that also means that there's more points to be had for every one of these that you finish. So just really give it a go, push through if you can. If not, meet up with me online and I'll walk you through it. If you pull it up on Pear Deck, I can help you out. I can watch your work as you're doing it and help you out. But in the meantime, here's a video. So we are going to make this a new T-chart. And we're going to try to get the y by itself. So what I usually say is we're going to anchor that y in place. Whoops, that's not what I want. We're going to anchor that y in place. I like draw a line underneath it. Sorry you have to watch this all happen. My line must be excruciatingly giant right now. There we go. So we're going to anchor that y in place. So I'm drawing a line under it just to make sure I don't move it. Then I'm going to try to get this 2x out of here. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. This is definitely a lot of algebra, but we're also in the spring of the year, so we're doing a lot of algebra. All right, we're going to drop that down. It's going to be a negative 3y. Fred has no problem with adding and subtracting negative numbers. That does not freak Fred out, so the inequality stays the same way. Hopefully you might be tempted, but you don't combine the 6 and the 2. If anything's going to go wrong here, people like to put 4x there or something like that. They really do not, they do not tangle. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide by a negative 3. Now Fred has a reaction to that, and if you did the work from the previous weeks, you know that if you divide by a negative, it's going to make this guy flip the other way. I like to say Fred flips. So we're going to turn him this way. He's still equal to, he just is pointed in this direction instead. So you're going to go 6 divided by negative 3. And I'm going to write that out. And negative 2 divided by negative 3. And then that x is hanging around to see what happens. All right, y is waiting over here for the grand finale. 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So there we go. All right. So now you're going to, well, celebrate this. This is part of your points. Okay, so getting that is part of your points for the day. And that's why there's only 2 lessons with the amount of these that we're going to do. All right, so you've got this. I'm going to make a little note to myself. I spy a slope of 2/3. So I'm going to make a note to myself so I don't forget that. And I spy a y-intercept of negative 2. All right, so now I'm ready to graph this. And again, I'm making a note to myself so I don't forget. I'm obviously going to write a little bit more on my screen than you probably will, just because I'm the teacher. But anything to get you to understand it better, I'm willing to do. All right, so you cross at negative 2. So that's down here, like your y-intercept. And then your slope is 2, 3. So that means you're going to go Right 2, up 3. That's that rise over run business that they've been talking about since middle school. Up and down first when you're doing slope, and then sideways. I've literally been doing this since 1989, so I might have a head start on you on graphing. Up to 1, 2, 3. Up to 1, 2, 3. Down to back 3. And usually teachers require at least 3 points if you can do them. Okay, so now before you do anything more, you should study your inequality. I know we drew a line through, it's a little hard to see, but we're just checking to see if Fred's got a mustache, if this is going to be a solid or a dashed line. This one's going to be solid. So in the last lesson, I had solid and dashed, and you had to circle one or the other, or I told you to think about it. We're starting to move away from asking you every question just because these are such detailed problems. There's a lot going on. So it's going to be solid. All right, and since you solved for y, you probably have a good idea if it's in region A or region B. Again, I'm just write an A here and a B here. Place your bets. This says y is greater than -2 plus 2/3 x. Make your guess as to where you think it'll be, and then you're going to test your point. Now, when I test, I always love to test 0, 0. If you watch other videos, you know that's my favorite point. When I test it, I test it in this one. So 2 times 0 minus 3 times 0. I just think it's nice to plug into. Less likely to deal with a fraction is less than or equal to 6. And 2 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 is less than or equal to 6. So then you're asking yourself, is 0 less than or equal to 6? So it's that true false question. And again, you don't have to write this out on your paper. I do, because I have all different kinds of learners, and some people do better by hearing it out loud, but other people do better by reading it. And I'm not taking any chances. So I am very interested in being able to meet you where you're at. This is what your brain is supposed to ask. Is 0 less than or equal to 6? And it is. 0 is. So that's a yes. And that means this is true. And that also tells you that wherever 0, 0 is the right side of the line for graphing. So I'm going to draw some arrows for myself to say that this is the side I want. And right now, it maybe doesn't seem like you need to do that. But tomorrow, we're going to graph 2 graphs on the same grid, 2 inequalities. And so those arrows could come in handy. All right. And I'm ready to highlight. So I'm highlighting the top half of this. Oops. So, whoops. Keep in mind that there's a lot to be had here, because look at how much work we did. And there's points for accuracy in all of it. So you want to make sure you do it correctly. The solving for a y is worth something. And then the graphing is worth something. I'm thinking about 1.5 points per problem. So this could be a great way to get points. That's how you do it.